What's something that has disappeared over the last decade that you wish hasn't? Story 1: Buttons and knobs in cars. You spent 10 years drilling into my head that I shouldn't use my phone whilst driving, then stuck a big-ass screen right into every car. I'd like to just hit a button or rotate a knob and know the job's done, not navigate a fucking menu. Story 2: Dude, physical releases for media. One of my favorite gaming memories is the Halo 3 release in my small-town GameStop. We had like 400 people pick the game up at midnight. It was a ridiculous hype party with a bunch of people with the same interests gathered together chatting. You don't get the same thing with digital release. There are benefits to a digital release as well, but dang, I miss the release night hype that came with Blockbuster Games releases. Story 3: Top-loading washing machines and appliances that are mechanical rather than relying on computer motherboards, costing as much as the appliance's original price. It's almost better to just purchase a new appliance than replace a major electronic part, such as a controller circuit board. They certainly don't make things like they used to. Story 4: Radio Shack. When you're busy doing anything for work or for fun, involving any kind of electronics, and you find yourself needing some kind of weird little adapter or cable or whatever, and you have to order online and wait a couple days for it to arrive. I miss being able to drive 10 minutes and just grab whatever I need. Story 5: People at least being somewhat respectful to the disabled, even if it's just keeping their thoughts to themselves. I don't want to hear about how I can't use a disabled buggy in the grocery store just because I'm not wearing my knee brace at that moment or didn't bring my cane inside that day. If someone's using a disabled buggy, it's not your business why. And people need to remember that hidden disabilities are more common than people think. Maybe it's just a southern problem, but dear fucking lords. Story 6: The entire essence of new music at the music store, the smell of the music store, the feeling of discovery, the listening stations, anticipating that new release and being ready to go grab it, listening to an entire album in the order it was intended and entering the band's world in that exact time of their lives, reading the lyrics from the insert and appreciating the art photos inside. These days there's value in the convenience and picking songs from a list. But we no longer experience music like a story unfolding. It's all about that hit song, it seems. Story 7: A willingness to consider someone else's opinion before deciding that you still don't agree with it. Everything is now to the extreme. If somebody does something you dislike/disagree with, then everything they do is bad. There is no redemption here. They are the enemy. Sorry, about to go political here. Here in Canada, a former PM just passed away. He was PM for 8 years, and he did a lot of stuff during his career. Some was good, and a lot, to me, was bad. His political opponent said this about his passing, paraphrasing here. He was my opponent. He wasn't my enemy. Everyone is an enemy, it seems, and that is sad. Story 8: The celebrity redemption story. The last one I remember was Robert Downey Jr., but it seems like now you can't learn and do better from a mistake. Granted, some of the mistakes as of late have been quite horrible, but still, we are all human, some of us. I think this is why people absolutely refuse to be wrong, even when they know it. A public redemption story gives hope for the rest of us that even when we make mistakes, we can still do better and earn back the love and respect of our peers. Story 9: Written game guides on sites like GameFAQs. If I want to learn something about a specific game mechanic, I would rather read the bare-bones, stripped-down explanation of how it works than watch a 10-minute YouTube video with the creator spending more time on their sponsor, stupid antics, their opinion of the game and how this feature fits into other features, everything that's wrong with this feature, etc. Seriously, I just want to know how to do X/Y/Z in a game. I don't need to know where to do X/Y/Z or how to make the most money, exp doing it, or how another game does it better or worse. Story 10: People with good manners and thoughtfulness. When I started working retail, there were a few people who wouldn't greet you before asking something, and sometimes someone would let something at another place, then he grabbed it. Now people feel entitled, literally destroy stuff. Nobody is able to look at something with his eyes. It must be taken out of the shelf and put back somewhere else. Some yell somewhere something and consider this asking for something they couldn't find while staring at their phones. And most people just hold their fucking phone screens in your face with the worst possible picture of the product they are looking for. The amount of stuff idiots carry through the whole store only to leave it at the cash desk is just as mind-baffling as the amount of people buying something and 5 minutes later return it. Kids talk to adults without respect because their parents also have no manners or respect towards the people around them. Stupid egomaniacs all around. Story 11. It's silly, but when I was a kid on family vacations, our family was big enough, 6, 7 of us all, to split up at theme parks and use walkie-talkies to communicate. Cell phones have completely replaced them, but it was weirdly nice to have something just for communicating instead of bringing a power source to make the cell phone work as a communication device and a line-waiting boredom buster. Story 12. My sparkle. I used to love to interact with new people and things. Now, after some rough years, some of it my fault and some just life, for example, COVID, I'm fighting hard not to turn bitter and angry, but I feel it seep into all things every day. Yes, I'm in therapy. Yes, I have a roof over my head and food. Very thankful. But I don't have many friends and they are all far away. Making friends here has been tough. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm spiritually tired and am just over everything and everyone. I'm trying to avoid hermit mode because I've heard it is a tough cycle to break. I'm lonely and frustrated. I saw a tweet the other day that said they wish life were like a video game so they can look at their stats and see what is wrong. I felt that deeply. I know I'm the only commonality to the struggles over the last couple of years. I know it is easy to get in your own head. I miss feeling good about my life, myself, where I live, and feeling like sometimes the good guys win. Story 13, 24 Hours Walmart. DVDs and not the Blu-ray, actually seasons on DVD. I don't have any streaming service as we want to own our shows. Respect and common sense. I swear both are getting rare. Abortion rights. Story 14. Renting video games. Would be really helpful, especially in the advent of $70 priced games. The problem with demos is that they're what the company want to show you of a game which can differ from the actual game, even if it is part of it. Common sense. Not that common anymore, even if we're not stretching the line on what is or isn't common sense. Story 15. I miss having structure in our society. It's like everyone's personal freedoms take priority, so that nobody cares about what anybody else thinks. People are not courteous like they used to be, or friendly or patient. There used to be a sense of order and decorum. It's like kids don't want to be kids anymore. They don't respect authority. Everyone curses freely, and if you complain about it, they say that you're just old. I just miss there being some kind of social structure and an order to everything instead of everything just being quick, easy, instant gratification. Story 16. People I used to hang out with. Some started families, some moved, some passed, and some grew apart. Despite my best efforts, I haven't been able to recreate those relationships in my life, and it's hard to accept. It's a part of growing older that nobody prepares you for. Eventually, if I live long enough, almost everyone I grew up with will probably be dead. It's a weird thing to imagine. Story 17. Black Friday being a thing. There used to be great sales on Black Friday. It used to be a tradition to go out shopping on that day. I went out last year and the mall and stores were pretty dead, Chicago's suburbs. I know it is not for everyone, but it is one of those events that mark the passing of time of for many like my CL, a way to reconnect with old friends for a traditional event. Story 18. I miss Blockbuster. I worked there while in college, and it was such a fun job. Free rentals every week. Talking with guests about movies and trying to figure out a good recommendation for them. I had a couple claim to be mad at me because everything they watched after Battlestar Galactica just wasn't as good. They were so upset they bought me a bottle of wine when they complained about it. I remember someone asking for a sad movie, and after they finished watching my recommendation of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, they said maybe not that sad. One time I got written up because when a customer with the movie pass went on vacation and they dropped their movies off, they didn't pick up new ones. I spent my whole shift using their account to check in and out the comedy Hamlet 2 in order to manipulate the list for our top 10 wall. I wasn't able to check it in and out enough to be number 1 for the week because Transformers 2 had just dropped, but it did take the second spot on the top 10 wall. Problem was, we only had 2 copies of the movie and everyone wanted to see it now. That movie was checked out for months. And hard to get, and good thing too, because it was a fantastic sleeper comedy a lot of people never heard of. I was so proud of that write-up. Blockbuster was a third space for the community. It brought people together. We're losing more and more of those these days, and it's no wonder we are all feeling more isolated. Story 19. Tuning into your favorite series of a Tuesday night or Thursday night, or whatever, after the last episode was left on a cliffhanger, and then going into school the next day and discussing what happened with your friends. I miss that. I still remember days of the week when my favorite sitcoms were airing. Everything now is streaming / binging / watching crap by yourself in bed, blah, blah, blah. It's just not the same. Even proper kids' TV was different. I used to love getting home of a Friday evening tuning into 3-ish TV personalities who used to host a show with cartoons in between. I loved it. It was genuinely funny. And as someone else mentioned, video/DVD stores, especially when looking to rent a horror around Halloween. Yup, Story 20 Las Vegas buffets. I lived in Vegas cool 2005 to 2008, and the buffets were fire. Great good and great price. We had 3 littles at the time, and they ate free too. There was a giant seafood buffet at the Rio that was absolutely incredible. $80 bucks for fresh real crab legs and even lobster and steak. That was our fancy date night spot if we didn't want to sit down. I went to Vegas a few years ago, pre-COVID, and their buffets were shit. I've heard that now, after COVID, they're gone or few and far between. Story 21 Sane people. Also people consuming a movie, TV show, video game, etc., and not speaking on the impact it's having on society or whatever. I know there has always been people doing this, but it has gone way overboard, and now people are consuming these things with the sole intention of finding these deep meaning, and commentaries and discourse surrounding these things has suffered severely. Story 22 stores. Now I almost always have to buy stuff online. When you wanted a stereo, you had 8 stores you can pick from. Now it is all online. The next big thing will be bringing stores back so you can actually try things out first. To young people in the future, it will be a whole new concept to actually go to the store to pick something up. Story 23. Light up shoes for bigger kids, older than a toddler like 6, 12, that aren't just an lead strip in the sole. What happened to the light up Spider-Man shoes where his eyes would light up with each step? The light up Barbie shoes with flowers that light up in the middle? They only make stuff like that for toddlers now. Where has the creativity and love gone for our tweens and teens? Story 24. Detailed animation for anime. I usually skip over old anime, but I decided to give some classics a try, and it's insane the amount of detail they used to use in the past. Like Cowboy Bebop and Akira going all in hand animating entire explosions to Naruto getting more effort put in than Boruto. I guess they got lazy because people would still watch the show without all this effort, so money is saved. Story 25. Being able to build something online and have people find it. Now, the vast majority of searches on Google end without anyone clicking on a non-Google property. Most social media platforms are using algorithm shenanigans to decrease the visibility of posts with links. And it seems like the amount of AI gen garbage doubles every day, stealing attention that might have gone to actual creative work by humans. Most creatives have the marketing budget of a mid-sized lemonade stand. What are we supposed to do?